Venture about there, we forget about it.
I like this.
Okay, let me watch. Okay. I think then.
Yeah, like last time we had.
Yeah. Did you not read the book?
No.
Oh, read the book. It's so much better.
Really.
I just don't like Sydney Sweet. And I had the question if I'm trying to F up every other sentence with those.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think she's very ago. I did like her in Christy. Give her one pass.
I haven't, no.
That one actually was pretty good, but all the other ones I watched should be nice.
Be a so good though.
Yeah, I like them in this year.
I'm a fan of the book. All of her books are like that, where it's just like all of a sudden like just like turn and you're like, I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right. You're there. I gotta look into it. Your best friend to my go-to. What about your other guests? I've been coached for it, and genuinely, her work is terrifying. I'm gonna just plan on California. There's they're so resilient. And it like, it's not like really any issues for her to, if you pay it all straight or because genuinely when it's just like gently, but firmly, not go over the top as big as they would. Exactly. I'm like, I'm the one like throwing them on the couch and like, yeah, it's fun. I know it is for a couple of months. Actually, to go to Green Bay. Yes, for Mondays and Tuesdays, for like the next meeting, probably. Oh, for sure. Yeah, Monday to Tuesday. Stay overnight and then I'll quit and be like, remember. And then like the boss here. That's person.
But she'll just be like, no, that's just.
Exactly, exactly. We'll end up harder. So feel good darn it. Unfair, very unfair. Yes, because I don't have to pay for it. And it comes back. We didn't scare you away last time?
Except for me, I'm just.
Because I didn't, it's not like.
Then I say,
Printed something up to put in my tables.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, yeah, that sounds good. You know, but craziness going on right now. I don't know.
4.6%.
At least as of 2 years ago, so. I mean, it's awful things at least
Very rare. I want to be able to tell by the back of her head. My husband and I are currently having space because they have a I can see
like besides the accidents, we know today.
not getting a new fridge.
I've been like pushing to expanding for years. We've been pretty much like, hey, you know, fires, microwaves, and all that stuff. It really is too much.
This fun.
My boyfriend are not that. So his former
So some other events that you could have.
So that's been gone. I've had like $13 for this.
Good. Well, guys, we'll get this meeting started. Got a good agenda in front of us tonight, so. We're Zoom. Do we have, we're recording this meeting on Zoom? I don't know if anyone's knows this, but Marissa's on there,
Yeah.
perfect. That we record these meetings, we put up on our YouTube channel, so if you ever miss a meeting and you wanna watch a presenter or anything like that, you can go on there and check that out. Now, please rise a fable, say allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So Marissa made this beautiful slide here. For those who don't know, Pat Stevens passed this past week. He was a very special Rotarian and a very impactful man in this community. I considered him a dear friend, and the impact that he has had on my life and plenty of others here is tremendous. So I just wanted to take this time to acknowledge Pat Stevens here. And his funeral is on Friday from 11 to noon at St. Pat's. Visitations Thursday 4 to 8, also at St. Pat's. They're doing a celebration of life afterwards, a celebration on the river. And in Pat's memory, he always still, even when he's passed, he knows how to get stuff done. In order to go to the celebration, you have to bring some food donations. So his whole thing was Rotary Lights, feeding the hungry. So say a couple prayers for Pat, say a couple prayers for Joanne and his family. He's gonna be dearly missed. So now I will welcome our guests and visitors. We have one person, two people that are here for the very first time, one that's joined us for the second meeting. So when I say your name, just please stand up so our members can come over and talk to you, and we'll the question I'll ask is what are you looking forward to most about spring? So we'll start with Brandy Ernest. Brandy?
Hello, being into my garden. Love garden.
Nice. There you go, Brandy. Love that. Lurch. I don't have the last name.
Yep. Right. Lurch, thing I'm looking forward to most is getting the bike back out again.
Oh, yeah. Being right. And then Andy, thank you for coming again.
Hey, I hope my kids are on my park bike, into myself.
Oh, nice.
I got it out the way.
Nice. Well, welcome. Thank you for visiting and thank you for joining us on this meeting here. If there's any questions about Rotary After Hours, you can see all of us with some name badges on. Please come ask us questions, learn more about the club. Marissa is online, so that's another Rotarian visiting online here for us. And then I'll do this. I'll keep it at 2.5 minutes since we got a pretty packed agenda. Well, this is just so you get to know each other a little bit better at your table. What is your dream vacation?
There's a way. I like a beach, but also I would really want to go like. I want to see. I really want to see beaches, so I'm getting more into it. So, I don't know, I really want to go. Long time to leave now, I think I'm like, we go everywhere.
You should.
Okay, so.
Wait, is that the one, there's a whole bunch of like.
Yes, yeah. So there was, I thought that there was.
My favorite.
So we're hiking, we went up, why are we going down toward the water?
America, South America, and Australia.
We get there, and it's the lookout, it's like. Love that, so I was like, oops. Yeah, they're going to, oops. And then. My vacation, and we're gonna be, relax. I wanna go to Aruba. Random reason, sounds nice. Yeah. I have a running fast.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Like always, like, watch the beach. Yeah. And that's where I got that. Beach architecture, found me like Spain, traveling, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I like beach. I don't know why.
Aren't you cool? They got some beautiful.
Yeah.
Sure.
They get my view realistic for myself. There's like about regulations. I know, but it would be like forever the serious. I would have to with a beach and a consistent drink in my hand.
Ah, Brandy, I love it. I love it. There we go.
Like it gets empty, then it gets back to itself again. But honestly, I will say, talking about adventure and whatnot, my list is on there.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. Well, something similar to.
Oh.
So.
Maybe thought about going.
You know, I have thought about that. I have thought about that, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
there you go. Could possibly.
You guys are-
How about you, Lewis?
Like, gonna be a year now. But
There's things I've done,
excited.
things I wanna do again.
Gonna start.
Did Alaska and Western Caribbean. I'd like to do the Eastern Caribbean and Mediterranean.
Now we're
I'd
gonna.
like to go to like Scotland.
So.
Trace my family's history back to the seventies.
So what's the like the.
Southern England and.
Well, that's a page.
But it's now.
But it was. Wow.
Very.
And, oh, yeah, yeah. So we got to go. Yeah. But, yeah, but like. Yeah.
My dream one would be like, kind of like yours for hiking. I wanna do the Wonderland Trail and I wanna do Tour de Mont Blanc. So I should probably just, let's go Tour de Mont Blanc. So it is it's a loop through the Alps. And you go to Switzerland, France, and then Austria, and you just hike through the Swiss Alps or through the Alps. It's like a huge trail, and then the Wonderland Trail would be, that one's a little shorter. The Wonderland Trail is a 99-mile route around the year. It'd take about 2 weeks to do, but I want to
Where's
back.
Big Jesus?
It's not like so taxing, but it's like.
Wherever that right.
Very true.
We talked about this.
I do love being.
Oh.
What do you think? So we're flying into.
I just haven't been on vacations or like.
I'll draw it from back.
Okay.
We can wait.
All right, I think I'll pick back up here. Today is Stephanie Klein's birthday, guys. So if you had the chance, message her happy birthday. Sure, she's turning 21 here. And then we got Susan coming up tomorrow. Is Susan here? No,
She's traveling.
she is traveling, right? And so Susan's tomorrow, then we got Megan Bowers, 16th, Pete on the 25th, and then Meg on the 27th. So happy birthday to all those. For anniversaries, we got a couple big ones. Laura Lee, 14 years. And Jeremy Morris, 14 years. Pretty cool, guys. That is, I think our inception date was on 2011, but I don't know the exact date. This might actually be, I think Jeremy was a founding member, and I think Laura was a founding member too as well. And then we got Eileen for 5 years and Pete 1 year on the 18th. So that years of commitment goes, kind of slips by, but their dedication and service and the impact they have in the club and around each other is, it's wonderful. So I really want to just highlight that and really congratulate them and thank them on that. All right, any announcements? You can come up to the owl. We'll start with some guest announcements. So any guests that have any announcements to make, they're allowed to come on up.
Well, that one's out.
And make anything. Rich, do you have anything you want to touch on for guest announcements at all?
Yeah.
Come on up. You can use the microphone if you can.
All right. Oh. I kind of had an ulterior motive for coming tonight. We're doing our soup cook-off on March 7th. And as the winners of the last event, I wanted to make sure that y'all got an invitation to come back to it again this year. Unfortunately, I do not have time to do a lot of involvement with Rotary, but for all the clubs that I have volunteered at, this one is the most fun.
Yeah. How many participants are there usually?
It depends on each year. I think we had 14 last year.
How
So
many people come to St.
we don't count at the door, honestly. But estimate somewhere around 300 people.
How much do you raise for the organization?
The smallest we've raised in any event was $4,000. So between the silent auction and people just coming in to try all the soups or whatever. So it's pretty, our only fundraiser we do for the year. And we've been fortunate enough that with COVID and everything else, we didn't have a problem getting through. You know, we had to cut back on some things, but we're an all volunteer organization, so it's pretty easy to do.
Well, thank you, Rich. We're
Thank you.
excited. Hopefully we can get another team together, maybe bring this golden ladle home again, huh? Any other announcements? Yeah, you can do yours on the.
Jen,
Good. Oh, Jenny,
go ahead,
one
Jen.
at a time.
Just a reminder again, I'm going up to the Pets Conference the first weekend of March. We're looking for, we're doing a drive for kids. So each district is in charge of different supplies to bring, and 6250 is in charge of blunt scissors and acetaminophen. I got it this time. So, I will either take money and I will go buy it and bring it. Otherwise, I will gather items or money tonight or at the next meeting. Thank you.
I just wanted to sort of make everyone aware, if you're ever interested in coming to First Fridays, First Friday Art Walk downtown, the Rivoli Arts Building has become a big part of this. It's all, so on the first Friday of the month, the Rivoli Arts Building, which is filled with a couple floors of artist studios, other small businesses. It's open to the public, so it's a great chance to come in and see all the artists' work, kind of help support them. We always do we have like a rotating gallery show up there. We serve snacks and drinks and everything. And so it's just a really fun, kind of nice thing to do. And also just on March 15th at the Rivoli Theater, we're doing a Oscars watch party, if anyone is into that kind of thing. Yeah, it's just gonna be real fun. And we're just, we've been going around to a lot of downtown businesses to just really try to get a lot of people there in the community. And we have a ticketing page up, but honestly, if you just wanna come, we're just sort of charging tickets for a drink ticket. If you would just like to come and don't want to drink, just talk to me. I will give you a little pass. I would just love to see everybody there.
Thank you, Jenny. That sounds like fun. Those first Fridays, that's a neat thing. That's cool. All right. So Marissa has came up with this great concept. Just kind of with the political events that's been going on, there's been a lot of nasty stuff, very depressing stuff on social media. And so Marissa came up with this idea of be kind. So this is, you do a random act of kindness for someone, and then maybe you put it on our Facebook page, private Facebook page, just a way to spread joy. And you can do it on our public one too. But it's just a way to show that like there's a lot of good people out here doing good deeds. And so this is a way of just spreading that positivity to our community and our club. Marissa, I think I hit on it all. If you wanna.
Sounds perfect, Neil. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Oh yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. I'll just say I did my first one today. I have three little cousins. I call them little cousins that are a first and second year in college. And it was just a simple Venmoing them $10 and saying, go get a coffee on me. And one of them, haven't heard from the third one, but got a message back right away that said, hi, I just got your Venmo. That is so kind. You did not have to do that. And I think it was more rewarding for me probably than her getting the $10. But I just would like to spread more kindness in the world. So I hope you'll join me in this effort, in this movement. I think Steph's going to share it with the other area Rotary presence on Friday. So hopefully we can get some movement among the Rotary clubs.
Thank you, Marissa. Service committee. So we have a couple volunteer opportunities. They are on our website if you want to sign up there. I think there's some sign-in sheets coming around too. Lacrosse Library came in here and presented to our club earlier this year. And we're gonna go help them carry some boxes. So thank you, Megan, for helping line that up, and a good way of giving back to the local community. And then we have volunteering at the Polar Plunge is our next one in March. So there we'll just work some stations. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's like 2 hours, but might have to dress warm.
Yeah, you put me outside, like they just flow is really well, or guarding, like the chain really well.
Yeah.
Or it could be concessions. I'm assuming.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch coming up still. So there should be still some more coming up here. Programs and socials. We do have one coming up in March. So in March, we're doing a night at the community theater. They're hosting, I think, come away from far. I think come from away. And so it's all about people coming into a community and how the ones in the community welcomed the new visitors in. And so in a way of doing that, they're having local organizations come in and kind of be that welcoming committee and community for them. So you can learn more about the organizations in the community to help welcome people in. And Brandon and Dustin are both participating. So we're going to turn it to the social as we get to watch them play. And then at the end, we can hang out there. They serve beverages and then we can go hang out afterwards too as well. Oh, then we're at the foundation committee. Shark Tank is coming up here, guys. There's still time to get a pitch together. All you gotta do is create the PowerPoint and then you can figure out the rest after that. We do have some pitches here. So if you're interested in helping, I'm sure that these guys would also welcome some help. But if you're also interested in pitching, there's still time. We're 2 weeks away from the 24th here.
Hard to see the Cholita person.
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
It's me.
Yeah.
Neil,
Yes,
you did get an email today from somebody at, Google, right? They have a project, anybody's interested in it.
perfect.
I already committed one other one, so.
New Horizons.
Someone's interested, ask Jason.
Oh, yeah. All right, so just, we have to be involved with it. You
Neil,
can't
can
just
I
cover
add
administration.
something?
Yes,
Can you go back one slide?
yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So these were projects identified by Liz Evans that are still up for grabs if anybody's interested in putting a pitch together. Also, just a pitch, Shark Tank is one of the most fun meetings of the year. So if you don't have plans to be there, change your plans and make sure you're at the next meeting. But these projects, Angel's House, the United Way, Haven on Main, Horse Sense, New Horizons, and VARC all have needs identified. And if you're wondering what a pitch looks like, I send an email out. There's videos from last year's and the previous years. It's simple. Slides are relatively simple too. You need 3 main ones, and that's basically what the project is and the impact you're making and how many you're impacting. The second one is the proposed budget for the project. And just hypothetically, if we wouldn't get that matching grant, what would you do if we just had $5,000? It's always a backup thing to include. And then lastly, how is our Rotary Club being involved in the project? So the more hands-on, the better. But these 6 here, I think there's 6, are waiting for somebody to pitch. We can get you connected to the person. Would all be great opportunities. And so if you're interested, reach out to me.
Here are some of the pitch rules. Marissa already kind of
Yeah,
touched on.
so we'll send this out to the pitchers. So if your picture was not on that previous slide with the projects identified, please let me know if you plan to do one. At this point, we'll plan to have each pitch up to 10 minutes with 5 minutes for Q&A. This could be adjusted. If all of a sudden we have 10 projects, we might have to adjust that time, but we'll let you know ahead of the 24th date. We'll determine the order prior to the 24th. It'll be randomly selected and we'll let you know. If possible, you should bring your own laptop and HDMI capabilities. We've had some issues over the years where if you have certain things in your PowerPoint, we want to make sure it comes across like you had planned for it to come across. And then if you're embedding any videos in your pitch, they can't be longer than 2 minutes combined. And just a reminder, the pitches are only given by Rotarians. The community partners organizations can come with. They're encouraged to because they are a great source for that Q&A piece. But you as a Rotarian have to actually pitch the project.
And then Jeremy Moritz has sent out a couple of emails. We're almost there for his goal. So if you feel it in your heart to donate, please do reach out to him and we'll help get to his goal here. Membership committee, RAH kudos. I didn't get any submissions, but if anyone has any kudos that they would like to share, please do. And then we have a RAH membership appreciation event coming up in April 11th. So this will be a really fun event. This is a way to celebrate us and our members in RAH. We're highly encouraging bringing people from the public. We're probably going to do some games, some euchre tournament, there's potentially vague tournaments. Just have a good time, get together for the evening, grill out and hang out as a group. And then public image, we have some RAH apparel. So I believe with this, Marissa, should they message you if they want it?
Nope. So I put a message and I'll send out an email after tonight. There is a message in our private Facebook group with a Google form. So you fill out that Google form, it will ask you your size, which color you want, what item you want. And then you can pay cash or check to the secretaries and they'll document that you've paid. And the orders are due at noon on Friday, the 27th, so that we can get them in before the end of the month. So the 3 options here are the blue hoodie that many of us have. There's a vintage white, I think it's called, with a darker blue print, and then a heather slate t-shirt. Hoodies are $30 and the t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirts are $18. Any questions on the apparel? We usually do this about once a year, so this is your opportunity to stock up.
Thank you for Marissa lining this up. I'm definitely gonna get that right. Youth committee,
Just real quick, we are looking for our first host family. We still have not found one. But we also don't know what the gender or age or where the student is coming from yet. But if you know anybody that has just the thought of possibly hosting any type of student, please let myself or Ashley know right away. Once we are assigned a student, the clock starts ticking. We have 30 to 31 days to find a host family. If we don't, then we lose that student for the whole year. So please keep an ear out, and you can email or text myself or Ashley. We have time for. Yeah.
Ugly Sweater 5K was a hit this year. I'm gonna turn it over to Amy. So Amy is our president-elect. It's her job to help get the board together for next year. So she put together this presentation. She's gonna swing through it quick and then,
Real fast, so we can get our people coming. So
yes.
for elections, coming up online. Important dates. So today is election kickoff, so I'm gonna kind of talk about what is gonna be open for the board next year. I will send out a Survey Monkey with an email with more instruction, most likely tomorrow, but by the end of the week. Those need to be done by March 10th for the nominations. You can self-nominate, you can nominate somebody else. Please don't put like 5 names in each nomination to try to narrow it down. And then myself or the election committee will talk with the candidates and people that were nominated about the position and if they're interested in that position. And then a slate, so we'll put everyone into the open slots. The slate will be presented to the board to vote and then presented to the club as well. The new board will start the July 1st.
Sure.
That was really fast. If you have questions, let me know. All right, so 2025-26 board, so this is who's currently on our board of people or board. So next year, who is currently going to be on the board is myself as president. Past president will be Neil. Treasurer will be Brad. Director 3-year will be Jason. I forgot one in there, but president-elect nominee or president-elect will be Dustin, and then secretary is Megan. I read this like 5 times, so I'm sorry, I got one person there. So what is currently open is gonna be president-elect nominee, so that's 4 years. Treasurer-elect will be 2 years, sergeant-at-arms, 1 year, director for 1 year, or secretary-elect, which is a 2-year term. Okay, this will all be in your email, so you can read this in more detail, but it goes over what each of those positions are. There was a lot of support on the board. We really welcome new members to also get involved. This is a great way to learn about Rotary After Hours, to also learn about other members. So please don't let this scare you, because it's a lot of learning with it. So I will send out all these. This is kind of just what everyone's role is.
Amy, you want to mention, we do have a paper that tells us what every role is and what every role's responsibility.
Yeah, so that's gonna get emailed out with your survey. So it's kind of a printout of kind of bullet points. There's a lot more to do with it, but it's just really straightforward of the simple kind of steps of it all. So joining the board again, it's impactful to our club, but also to the community. You really get a good behind the scenes of what our club does and all the impact our club makes to our community. It deepens your friendships. I was on the board many years ago and I have my strongest friendships from that time. And also you learn everyone in the club because you're on the board or you're secretary and you greet everybody. It opens doors to additional opportunities. You learn more about other clubs in the area. You get new connections within the community because of your involvement. And you live out the motto of service above self. And
more deeper knowledge about Rotary. So if you're ever like, I have no idea what this club does and I know nothing, get on the board. You'll learn real quick. Okay. I just want to put this out here. We have also committee chairs that are going to be open for next year. So as I start conversations with people, maybe you're not interested in being on the board, but you would be interested in maybe stepping up to be a chair on a committee or a co-chair. So foundation is going to still be Marissa and Dean. Public image, we have a chair is open. Marissa is willing to stay on as social media, so you don't have to worry about the social media piece. And then we have someone, Levi might be willing to do the writing for Chronicle. You don't have to do that. So someone basically be the admin and oversee a public image. So service, Jenny is willing to stay on chair, but she really, really wants help. So please, we need a co-chair for Jenny or someone to assist Jenny so you guys can do more impact. Okay. Membership, currently Nathan and Alyssa, they would also love help. So if you're interested in any of those, step up. Youth exchange, Ashley. Ashley's willing to give that up if anyone wants to step up and be chair. So we need a co-chair and a chair, but Ashley is willing to step down, you guys. This is a great opportunity to get involved. She will be involved and help you though, because she has a lot of knowledge. Mini masters, new committee, everyone. We're gonna open a committee for mini masters. So it's gonna be overseen by youth committee. But currently we need a chair and a co-chair. I hear 2 people are interested. So I hope those 2 people are still interested, Jason and Chelsea. So, but it's open if anyone wants to also. Ugly sweater, Ashley's not stepping down on that. So, she has a good grasp on that. And social programs will remain Stephanie. What was it?
So I mean, if anyone's interested.
No, she's not stepping down on that. That's hate. So I put an extra question on our survey that if you're just interested in a committee, even if you just were like, hey, I actually just want to be on that committee and I just want to talk to somebody, put the committee in your name. It's anonymous, so I can't see anything else, but if you put that, I will see that. So please answer that question. All right, again, here's your important dates. It will all be in your email. Please do your part and nominate people or nominate yourself. Otherwise, I will be reaching out to you because I will nominate you as well.
Thank you, Amy.
Mhm.
Like Amy said, being on part of the board, it fulfills a lot of boxes. It's really rewarding. Rotary is such a large animal, and I still learn about the club every single day, learn new things about Rotary. It's very, very rewarding being on the board. So each role is different. So if you're gonna go with president or president-elect nominee, because that's the one that's up, you're on the board for 2 years, and then you serve as president 1 year, and then you're past president.
Oh,
But like-
the additional board meetings.
We meet once a month.
Once a month on the 3rd Tuesday, currently from 5:30 to 6:30.
And the president could change it if they wanted to meet on the first Tuesday of the month, we just do it on a non-meeting Tuesday.
There's always a virtual option
Yeah.
too, because of COVID.
Yep, keeps it flexible. All right. So up next, we have our speakers. Carrie and Larry are gonna come up here and talk to you about Seven Rivers Home. And this is a hospice care organization. Many people don't really talk about hospice. It kind of goes past your brains until like it happens to you. And it's a very important care at the end of life that I think has a huge impact, and I know it has a big impact on those around you. I just saw my grandma go through it, so it means a lot. And so I'm gonna turn it over to Larry and Carrie.
Yeah, thank you so much. It turns out that many of us in this room are gonna be called to be caregivers at some point when either parents or siblings or friends end up with a chronic illness. And it turns out that in La Crosse, Wisconsin, we don't have quite as much of a fabric to help support that. And especially in my work as a hospice medical director, I see that families, especially in those final weeks of life, sometimes really struggle because there's unfortunately, families are so far spread out and people can't necessarily come in to help. And yet they're becoming so exhausted, both emotionally and physically, that the person really can't stay at home. And so this is an answer to that. And I'm so pleased to introduce you to one of the pioneers in palliative medicine here in La Crosse. Carrie has been doing this work for an awful long time. She has a wealth of information. So I just gonna turn it over so you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for having us. I mean, Larry and I are really excited to be able to be here tonight because we finally feel like we're at that point where we can begin to reach out to the community and the civic groups, and you're our first civic group that we're reaching out to, so thank you for having us. As Larry said, I've been in palliative care and hospice for the majority of my career. Worked 35 years at Gunderson. I retired in 24. Continued to work with the Seven Rivers Hospice Board. And now I'm in a project coordinator position part-time, just because we were a fully volunteer board. And we just needed, as we were moving forward, we needed someone to keep us moving forward. So I decided, okay, I'll do this for a while anyway. And so I worked 35 years at Gunderson, mostly in palliative care and hospice. Through the years that I worked there, I definitely saw a gap. Although I think we have good end-of-life services here in La Crosse area, there was a missing link. And I always said, before I retired, I really wanted to help facilitate the development of a residential hospice home. Because sometimes people just can't be at home. My dad was on hospice a couple of years ago. And even though I did this work for most of my career, and I had two siblings and my mom there to help me, when it became more, the length of time he was on hospice, and then as he got weaker, and we just didn't know how long it might be yet, it became difficult. And, you needed two people to pull him up a bed and turn him, and I could see being on the other side of the fence. It just confirmed that we have that missing link in our end-of-life care here in the area.
And I think that I came from Marquette, Michigan as a Youper, and we did build a hospice home in that community called Trillium House. And to watch that community continue to grow and flourish because of having that place, we'll talk about that a little later, but could we move to the next one?
Pushing the button. Aim it at Neil.
Oh, yeah.
Back there. Oh, okay, thank you.
Now I can stay here.
Can you, if you can advance it.
There we go, got it.
Awesome.
Let's go one more.
I went backwards, sorry. There we go.
Right, so La Crosse, Wisconsin is known for advanced care planning, right? Joe's father, Bud Hammis, was a national figure in that whole movement. So we do a pretty good job of that. It turns out though that somehow, out of all the counties in Wisconsin, we don't enroll as many people into hospice programs as like Madison County and some of the other, most of the counties in Wisconsin. So there's something about our culture that seems to not always be sure that they want to move into a hospice program. And I think that's a cultural thing. We do have that palliative care thanks to people like Carrie who pioneered that work, and we have the home care. What we don't have is that residential home. And when we talk to stakeholders at both Mayo and at Gunderson, around social work, they're like, oh my gosh, do we need this? We're having these difficult conversations all the time with families about, hey, are you gonna be able to bring your loved one home? And these families turn to them and say, hey, we promised that they wouldn't have to go to a nursing home. So we're not sure what to do. And these are the kind of places that sometimes can answer that time. So we've got a lot of enthusiasm from a lot of people within the medical community that really see this as important.
I just wanted to explain a little bit about the structure of what we are proposing and building on. So we really want this to be a community-based endeavor. We want it to be a residential home for individuals on hospice. And there's a few things that I want to clarify there. There was a previous attempt to have a hospice home, and it was coordinated by the two major hospitals in La Crosse area, Mayo and Gunderson. They diligently worked on that for a couple of years, and there was a committee from both groups. And then when it came right down to the wire, and as often occurs, the administrative piece of it, it just didn't happen. Which was disappointing, but I think it also pointed out that maybe it is a community endeavor to move forward with. It will fill a need, I think, really through community support, involvement, and pulling together our community resources that we can really do this. We can do this as a community. Why would this be helpful, and what would it provide to the community? Death is part of life, right? What do they say about death and taxes? Few certain things in our life. But seriously, each and every one of us, we're gonna go through this, ourselves and our families. And I think it's important for us to be prepared and involved. And I think being prepared and involved will help us, the community, cope with death and dying, as well as our individual families. It fills a gap in end-of-life services. We can learn through being involved. We want to provide community education, continuing, of course, Bud's work in advanced care planning, having community sessions. I think people can learn by just being in the experiences. If they're volunteering at this residential home, they learn and feel, I think it might normalize the dying process. You use that kind of normalize, but it is part of what we go through. Decreases fear just by the exposure that you have. You can see firsthand what families might go through, how we can help. Decrease feelings of helplessness because we're going to be active and involved in making changes. And then understand resources available for other people, but also ourselves for the future. And then, strengthen community bonds just through collaboration. I can see all of these different groups being involved. Church communities, maybe a church community will offer meals every Saturday. And maybe the schools for nursing students. For training for med students, that they could come to this facility for some clinical learning opportunities. Boy Scouts, I can just see them out there working on the lawn and doing different projects. Civic groups such as yours, Lions. I'm a Lions member in the big town metropolis of Eitzen, which you might, Eitzen, Minnesota, is where I live. And, to pull in different opportunities from those groups. I'm going to ask Lions to maybe allow us to run the food stand for different baseball games. Eitzen is kind of known for their 4th of July celebration, but also baseball. So kids events, so getting the community involved that way. Agency on Aging and Disabilities for their resources. Fundraising activities. We're hoping to be able to do maybe a couple bigger fundraising activities each year, whether it's a 5K, whether it's a silent auction, whether it's a gala dinner, because we're going to need to do this. This is, like I said, it's community-based. It's going to be primarily funded by philanthropy, fundraising, sliding scale for the residents that are at this home. So one thing that's a bit different about what we're planning is that this home will provide the personal cares, the support, 24 hours, meals, and our area hospice programs. A Grace, Gunderson, St. Croix, all the area hospice programs can have their patients come to this home. And so those hospice programs will provide the medical care, where our residential home will provide the personal care. So we're including all the different hospice programs within our community where we will be the personal care support. Does that make sense? Yeah, avoids duplication of services, opens it up to the community. The licensing in Wisconsin will be a community-based residential facility license. We're not exactly sure where our home will be right now. It could be in Minnesota, and it'll be a license similar to that as well. Okay, we want it to be a peaceful home-like environment, 24-hour personal care and support. Family can stay at the bedside 24/7. And so home staff will be considered extended family to the family of the individuals there. They'll have a private room with a bath, assistance with daily living, meals, help with prescribed medications. Yeah, they're welcome to stay around the clock, encouraged to take part. So we want them to be involved as well, just as they would be at home. Meals will be provided, and I'm hoping to pull in volunteers there as well, whether it's local restaurants, community groups, church groups. So we will have a very active volunteer coordinator, because that's gonna be huge.
I think one of the advantages to that is that so many of the families that I visit, they tell me, you know, I'm not even sure I'm the daughter anymore. I'm not the wife. I'm just a nurse to my loved one. And it's really confusing. So this allows the family member to actually make right relationship, and I'm now the daughter again. I can let a care aide do the cares, and I can be the one that's actually in relationship with my mother or father. So that is, I can't tell you how priceless that is when you're the family member that's starting to feel so confused about, I feel like my relationship is no longer what it used to be.
I remember with my father feeling like I had to be the nurse and not the daughter. And I was okay with that, but I also noticed that it took me a long time to really come to grips with my dad dying. Because I had to somehow flip my hat into being the daughter. So as I said, we're gonna work with all of the area hospice programs. And they will see these patients and families just as if they were in their own home. So with that, Larry's gonna talk a little bit about hospice.
And so the things that, when I ask people like, what's threatening about the word hospice? I usually hear about, well, it might hasten death. Like if the person actually admits that time is getting short, then somehow that's going to be self-fulfilling prophecy. There's no evidence that that's true, but people fear that. And they also fear that somehow there'll be a giving up. Instead of leaning in and saying, what's still important to you and how do we fight for those things that are most important? And usually what I hear from people is, hey, my relationships are really important. How can you help me? And if you're not in good pain control, it's really hard to have a healthy relationship with somebody, or if you're real short of breath. So this idea that hospice is about leaning in and transforming hope, hopefully trying to fight for the things that are most important to that person. Even today, when I went to a home, one of my questions to the person was, what puts a smile on your face lately? And then let's do more of that. And the things that you hate about what's going on, let's try to palliate that as much as we can. So, we use mindful use, a mindful way of using medications as tools to try to help with that. And then a lot of it is just reconnecting you to your own strength, right? Up in the UP, Dr. Dan Mizuki was the person who built the Trillium home with the help of the board. And Dan was this force of nature. He was an Italian American. You'd go over there for Sunday dinner and he would have 3 bottles of wine, 2 reds, 1 white. He'd tell you where to sit. And he and his wife were amazing cooks, and you just felt lucky to be in that hospitality. He built the Trillium house. And he had a daughter who died of sarcoma. And so he actually named, he donated to name one of the rooms in the Trillium house for his daughter. He unfortunately ended up with a rare form of liver cancer. And I went to visit him. He called me up. He said, if you're in the area, I would like to see you. So I came. I heard about his cancer. And he said to me, I'm in an old home and the bathroom's upstairs and it's getting really hard, Larry, to get upstairs. I'm going to need to go to my daughter's room in the next week or 2. And that's where I'm going to live and where I'm going to finish out this story. So he ended up using that resource that he had helped develop in a way that brought his family relief and also brought him the best care he could possibly get during a really important time. And I'm never going to forget him for that. I also would say that as a medical student at Wayne State in Detroit, where it was more than just a little hostile for medical students. I mean, we showed up and everyone was just like, get in there and do things. It's kind of like The Pit. Those of you who watch the HBO show, I actually can't watch that very easily because it brings me back. But it turned out that I started volunteering at a hospice home like this. And for the first time, rather than getting told to immediately just go do things, the person greeted me with a hug and said, well, you're going to be working with this guy today. And it just opened my eyes to that relationships in medicine really are important. And thank God I had that opportunity and that those people were willing to teach me about that. As we know, hospice is all about team. We want to be holistic and we want to figure out what's most important and what brings you where your strength and beauty is. And then we try to build on that. And sometimes it's by talking to a spiritual support person like a chaplain, and sometimes it's a social worker, and sometimes it's me, and sometimes it's the nurse. But if we're all in there, hopefully we get a picture of what's going on. And we're also always supporting the family. Next one. So we can provide this kind of service not only in homes, we do that in assisted livings and we do it in nursing homes, but right now we don't have this piece and it can get really scary for our patients because they don't necessarily want to go anywhere and the families become so overwhelmed and sleep deprived that it's hard to watch the suffering that goes on. And that's why we really do need this residential home.
And this residential home will also provide hospice respite. So for those patients that are on hospice at home, if the family has a wedding or if they just need a respite break, that they can also come to this home. The main requirement for this home is that they're enrolled in a hospice program. So this is our latest rendition of our pamphlet that was put together. And I just need to recognize Weezer Brothers contractors and HSR architect because they really donated time and effort and passion into helping us develop and work on our dream. And so what we're hoping for is to start with building 4 to 8 rooms with a footprint being added in for additional rooms as we see how things are going. So we want to start with that. As you can see, there's the outside grounds is in the shape of a butterfly, which, you know, can symbolize transition from, you know, one life to our next life. And it's beautiful. And so we want to help people live out the last chapter of their lives with comfort and dignity. And I do have, it's also in those pamphlets, and I do have some bigger ones in the back if you're interested in that. Listen to something. Okay. Our Seven Rivers Hospice Board, this is kind of a timeline of when things started. And it was interesting because in 2018, we started having initial conversations. And as I said, one of my goals before I retired was to try to help facilitate this home. But life happened, and I was actually, I'm a cancer survivor myself, and I was just coming back from 7 months of chemotherapy. And I was back at work, and I was taking care of a wife of a gentleman who was just so kind. And so I think he could tell I didn't share, but you know, my hair was about that long. And he asked what I wanted to do before, you know, with the rest of my career. And I told him about this goal of the hospice home, and he was very interested. And he said, well, do it. And I'm like, oh, I just got to, you know, I didn't feel physically, maybe mentally ready to get started on something like that. But every time I went back in the room to care for his wife, he'd say, I know somebody in the community that can help you do this. And that, did you call him yet? Did you call him? Well, finally I went back in and he said, I called him for you and he's expecting your call. So I kind of just, it was just that, I think that gentle nudge that made us, kind of helped us move forward. So that was in 18. And then in 2019, we had the formation of our board. We became a 501c3 nonprofit organization in 2020. And of course, what happened in 2020, 2021, COVID, which kind of, you know, slowed us down a little bit. We met virtually monthly, but that happened. And then, so since then, we've continued with ongoing board meetings. We signed a contract with Weezer Brothers and HSR. So when we are at the point of building, they will continue to help us with that. We're collaborating with the Turbo, the School of Business, Dow School of Business, to help us with business planning and strategic movement forward. And then we're planning a key stakeholder event in May to really kind of get that word out and talk to people, because philanthropy is going to be a pretty big part of our community-based facility, as well as I said, those fundraising events. Anything different?
Yeah, so at Trillium House, about 50% of the cost of staying there, families can't afford that. So then there's a sliding scale, and then that money has to be raised in the community to make sure that those folks have that access. So to wrap up, because I know we're getting kind of to the end, community awareness is the most important thing right now. Please be ambassadors. If you hear someone say, well, you know, they're not going to a hospice because they're a fighter, I'm a fighter too, darn it, and I'll fight with anybody when it comes to like, I think in many cases, we end up really reducing suffering and helping families along. We are still looking for a location that would be conducive for this house. And so if you know somebody who has land or that's interested in selling, or you know, anything that you could do to help us find a place, that would go a long way to getting us moving forward. And then the rest of it is, you know, in the more distant future. So thank you for your ambassadorship with that.
Yeah, God.
I guess I had a quick question.
Yeah.
I have a lot of family members who are not in the medical field.
And so I love this idea, but I can think of a question that they would ask me would be, what would be the difference between this and a nursing home?
Yeah, so that's.
Could you describe that to me?
Right, so in nursing homes, there's a lot of folks that they don't specialize in those final weeks of life. So those folks sometimes get pushed aside by the fact that the staffing in nursing homes is not conducive for the intensity of those final weeks. So people somehow get lost in that shuffle in nursing homes. They do the best they can there, and they oftentimes do amazing work. And having a place that's more home-like, where the family can go out, make a sandwich for themselves, watch the Super Bowl and have a beer if they want to with their loved one. At Trillium, they have beds that roll out onto the patio. So if the person just says, I want to feel the breeze on my face, can you help me get outside? And they don't have to even get out of bed. Those are things that most nursing homes just don't do. So those are some of the differences. You know,
Thank you.
yeah.
And I just want to share a poem from Emily Dickinson. I do think that the job description for people working with patients and families at end of life needs to be to help maintain hope. Even at the end of life, you just have to somehow find something to help them put one foot in front of the other. And there's ways to do that. If they were a piano player, maybe they can't play piano anymore, but let's put piano music, on their phone or something, just to continue. And that might be pain and symptom control, that might be spiritual support that hospice will continue to provide, maintaining hope. So hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And then to end with, help the life of one person and you can help the community.
So we're open to
Thank you.
questions.
Yeah.
I know we're getting close on time, but if there's anything that people have questions about.
How big is your board?
We have 14 people. Yeah, and we've really tried to, look at, having a financial advisor. We have a member from the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration. We have an attorney that's helping us with some of the legal aspects. We have representatives from both Amplify by Gunderson and Mayo. So we've really tried to pull in people that can really offer and community members that can represent the community too, so.
You mentioned teaming up with Viterbo nursing students. Have you thought about broaching out to other courses that doesn't sound like maybe hospitality, ethics, music? Does anybody get the students to come, like if you have a harp player or something?
Yes, we would
Provide
love,
additional pieces.
absolutely, some of the relaxation things like, massage and Reiki or the harp. I had one of my friends who played the harp. She was there with me during my first chemotherapy and it just made such a difference. And so I just think adding those things are so important. So we will be reaching out to maybe even like social worker students or chaplains and pulling them in.
Was this partnered with Mayo and Gunderson's chaplain program still, or is it separate?
We are. Your question is whether we're
Would it
partnering.
continue with as an extension of Gunderson and Mayo, or would it need something new?
Well, we will be having the chaplains from hospice available, but we've also continued to update, amplify, and mail on what's happening, and messages have gone out to spiritual care in terms of just getting input on what they feel the needs might be. So we've had really good support from both facilities. Support in our endeavor. So yeah, any involvement is great. So
Well, we'll stay around if you have other questions. Thank you for your attention and for, we appreciate getting a chance to talk. Thanks, so.
Thank you.
It is an important service. Building, have you hit the arrow back in? All right. We can buzz through these. These are some of the district update from December. We'll get new ones here in January, or sorry, February, geez. We'll get that. I think those, I might have missed the ones from January there, but go ahead and just scroll through them quick. There's about like 4 slides. Keep going, membership it's good, keep going. All right, next meeting Shark Tank. And then I chose this quote. Thinking about hospice care, sometimes it only takes one act of kindness in caring to change a person's life. And that's what Rotary does. It leads with kindness and caring and make an impact. So I thought it was very fitting with our presentation today. And then we'll go to our 5-way test. Please rise if you're able. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and friendships? Will it be beneficial for all concerned? Is it fun? Thank you, guys. Thank you, good.